Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios. My name is Elijah, aka Hajio Saunek, aka Nerdlust Daddy, and you're tuning into the first episode of Vidiot Entertainment Studios Movie Reviews. We're going to start off the movie reviews with a bang and do an entire series on reviewing every theatrically released video game movie adaptation. We're only going to review the live-action video game movie adaptations that have been released within North America, and we're going to critique them on things like how close they are to their source material, as well as entertainment value and overall quality. It's sure to be a fun ride, so join us, won't you? But before we kick things off, I'd like to introduce you to my new co-host and the Vidiot Entertainment Studios mascot, Piggles. Say hello to everyone, Piggles.
Hello.
You ready to get things started?
Ta.
Well, let's do it then. All right, let's first start off by taking a look at the Super Mario Bros. Games that were out at the time of this movie's release. It was released into theaters on May 28th, 1993. And seriously, they really thought this was going to be some big summer blockbuster? Anyways, at that time, 7 games in the Super Mario Bros. Series had been released. Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Land, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. Now, we can overlook Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels since that game wouldn't be released in North America until later that year within the Super Mario All-Stars collection, so we'll just use the rest of those games as our baseline for comparison. Now, our plot here, I think we all know the basic plot of any Super Mario Bros. Game. King Koopa kidnaps Princess Peach, and the Mario Brothers run off through the Mushroom Kingdom to rescue her. Of course, a few of the games in the series have diverged from this plot, but the vast majority of them follow this same formula. This movie, it sort of follows that. So what happens is when the movie opens up here, we get treated to the opening music from World 1-1 of Super Mario Bros., and that sets some expectations high with a direct and easily recognizable link to the video game series. But please don't let this fool you. It is all downhill on the expectation road from here. We then get presented with a terrible 90s CGI sequence that explains the extinction event that killed off the dinosaurs due to an asteroid hitting the Earth. And in this world, the impact causes a rip into the center of the Earth that creates a parallel world that pulled some of the dinosaurs into it and left them the dominant species that ends up evolving into a humanoid form. Next, we learn that 20 years ago, before 1993, a woman escaped with her baby into our world and left that baby along with a mysterious crystal rock at the doorstep of a church where some nuns find them and quickly discover the baby is inside of an egg that is hatching. Now this egg hatches and inside is a perfectly human looking infant. Yep, we are starting in batshit territory already.
Oh, chit, futter.
Now fast forward to present day 1993 in Brooklyn, and we get introduced to Mario and Luigi, who are local plumbers there, and we get some backstory about them having to compete with a local wealthy contractor named Anthony Scapelli, and he's been taking a lot of their business from them. During the scene, we get a phone call about a plumbing emergency, and the brothers rush off to the job. We end up cutting to a local construction site after that, where we see Scapelli pulling up, while we get some exposition dumps from the local news about the construction job being placed on hold due to a local college putting an injunction on the site in order to dig for dinosaur bones. Scapelli approached the site, asked to speak with the person in charge there, and we see a woman step forward that's wearing a familiar-looking crystal around her neck, and she says she's the one in charge here. Now they have a bit of a heated exchange between them. Some threatening statements are made by Scapelli in regards to what might happen to her if they don't leave that site. So what happens here is this mysterious woman in charge. You might be asking, who is she? Surely it's got to be Princess Peach, right? No, it is none other than Daisy. Daisy from Super Mario Land. Alright, at this time I'd argue Princess Peach would have been the obvious popular choice, but sure thing, movie. Now, with Daisy feeling threatened, she does leave that site, goes off to use a payphone. You remember those things? Now, what she does is she calls up the college and asks them to help bring extra protection and place it at the site there, and they refuse. But during this, this leads her to run into the Mario Brothers, and while she runs into them, she knows she's being followed by 2 people, and it's Iggy and Spike. Don't know about these choices here, but we'll touch on that later. Now, the brothers, they offer her a safe ride back to the dig site, and when dropping her off, Luigi ends up half-assed with some help from his brother Mario, asking Daisy on a date out later that night. She agrees, and her, Luigi, Mario, and Mario's girlfriend end up meeting that evening for dinner at an Italian restaurant to have spaghetti. Yeah, stereotype sin number one for this movie here. Pickles, what did they do to Italian representation within this movie?
The chit futter did.
Next, we have a series of events that lead to Mario's girlfriend being abducted by Iggy and Spike, and then Daisy abducted by them as well. The brothers do witness that second abduction, run off to rescue Daisy, and they end up underground, where they can see what appears to be Daisy screaming for help and partially appearing out of a solid stone wall. In an attempt to save her, Luigi accidentally rips the stone necklace from around her neck and ends up realizing that he and Mario too could pass through that solid stone in order to continue pursuit. Once they do that, on the other side they end up emerging from a cave and enter into an underground city that looks like a mix of a post-apocalyptic and cyberpunk neon world. This clearly is not the Mushroom Kingdom that we were expecting. Instead, it's King Koopa's city that he rules. We also learn that he is behind the kidnapping and has been searching for Daisy in order to acquire the stone she has. Now with this stone here, it's a shard from the meteorite that crashed into Earth and killed off the dinosaurs. And with this, King Koopa would be able to merge both worlds together and attempt to take over ours. Now that's the plot of the movie here. Does it check the boxes off for the expected plot of a Super Mario Bros. Video game? Yes, somewhat here. We have the characters in name at least, and the heroes run off to save the princess who's taken to another world by King Koopa, which also involves some plan he has to seize power and or land. It's just the way that the story's represented most of the time through the characters and the entire setting is miserably inadequate. Let's talk about that. The scenery and the setting here. World representation. Oh boy, seriously here. A post-apocalyptic and cyberpunk neon world. This is absolutely trash. I have no idea why this setting was chosen. Where's the lush green worlds? Where's the ice level? Where's the fire level? Why are we trapped in a city instead of some open world level like most Super Mario Brothers levels have? Anything would have been more accurate than this Mad Mario Beyond Koopa Dome setting bullshit. It's just awful, and it is no way an accurate representation. Pickles, what did they do to the setting?
The chit futter did.
We at least have some things thrown in that attempt to represent aspects of the Super Mario world, but not by much. They have a representation of the fireball power-up, which in this movie is a flamethrower weapon that occasionally spits fireballs out, but it's King Koopa's forces that use these, and they're not some power that the brothers acquire. We also get a representation of the high jump, but again, this ability is provided by a device. It's boots that you strap onto your feet and load with a cartridge. Then you just click those heels together, just like Dorothy, and then you're off into the air, heading to the land of Oz. This is not at all what people expected. You only see it twice in the movie, and it is used as an ex machina in a scene. It in no way meets the expectation that this is naturally just something the brothers can do. We also see fungus and mushrooms, but these two are used as ex machinas multiple times in the movie and are never used like in the video games. If you expect the bros to chomp down on some shrooms, grow to twice their size, and go all psilocybin warrior on Koopa's minions, you are out of luck. We do have a bomb show up a couple of times, but it's yet another ex machina. It does look accurate though and can be wound up, placed, or thrown, and it blows shit up, so nailed it, movie. Nailed it. We also have the iconic Super Mario Brothers outfits show up later in the film, and honestly, these look pretty damn good. It's just a shame they don't appear until the end of the movie. The only other thing that comes close to proper world representation in this movie is pipes. Yes, pipes. Pipes are everywhere in this movie. It's just that they're all ordinary water and sewage pipes. There's no colorful pipes that they jump into that lead them to some secret area or shortcut. Just your average, everyday pipes that a plumber may run into, and thus they are used repeatedly to reinforce the stereotype that the brothers are plumbers and that they are the best at what they do. Now, what do they do here to the setting and world representation, Pickles?
The chit futter did.
That's right, Pickles. They chit futtered it. Let's talk about this cast here and the representation of characters. So we've got the plot here already. It meets bare minimum. The world itself, that's a proper chit futter. But these characters in cast, they have to save this Hindenburg, right? Well, let's talk Goombas first. Goombas. Goombas everywhere, but they look fucking nothing like Goombas. Look at this shit. Look at it. These guys look more like Koopa Troopas than Goombas. Do they at least act like Goombas, since they are pretty mindless things that just do as they're told and attack the bros? That's pretty much what they are in this movie, so I suppose they kind of get it half right. Now, Big Bertha is in the movie and plays a part in the plot. Clearly, they look nothing alike, and it's hard to add personality to a character that was just a big fish that tries to eat the brothers to begin with. But their choice of actress and representation of this character, they chose an African American BBW actress to play a character named Big Bertha. An African American BBW actress to play a character named Big Bertha. I don't think I'm qualified to speak on this, but this is stereotype sin number 2. And, well, Piggles, what'd they do to Big Bertha?
They chit futtered her.
They chit futtered her. How about Toad here? Just look at the visual comparison yourself and weep. This is not even close. And that haircut? Look at that thing. It's hilariously bad. Is it meant to look like a fucking mushroom or something? It's just awful. They also turned him into a street musician. I'm pretty sure he was a very close friend of the Bros and Princess Peach, and in some of the games acted like Princess Peach's close personal assistant. Piggles, tell the people what they did to Toad.
They chit futtered him.
Preach, Pids, preach. Now, Iggy and Spike. Oh, where to start with this clusterfuck duo? Let's start with Spike. As you can see, the character and actor look nothing alike at all. The character is represented in the movie as one of King Koopa's dumb right-hand lackeys, which doesn't make sense. He has too high of a level of authority in the movie because in the games, Spike is nothing more than a low-level minion that spits out and throws little spike balls at the brothers. Why in the hell did they choose this character? What an absolute waste. They chose Iggy and not one of his siblings instead of Spike. Fuck me. Pids.
Chit futtered.
Now, Iggy's a good choice. Iggy had been around since Super Mario Bros. 3 and is one of King Koopa's right-hand men or lieutenants. He also is represented as a bit bumbling and unreliable, so check 2 boxes. He doesn't really look like the character, but that's clearly a recurring theme with this film. My main argument is that at the time in the games, he was presented as one of King Koopa's children. This wouldn't be retroactively removed from the canon until much later upon the introduction of Bowser Jr. into the universe. Here, both he and Spike are referred to as cousins of King Koopa's. So, yeah, Piggles, how did they treat Iggy?
They chit futtered his ass.
Yoshi. Yes, we get Yoshi as Super Mario World had been released 3 years prior to this movie. You gotta capitalize on that newest game. Now, he has a combination of CGI and puppetry that's honestly excellent. Yoshi's another one of the very few impressive things in this movie. The issue is that since they're doing this extremely real-world version of the Bros, they make Yoshi a small, realistic-looking dinosaur. He doesn't in any way look like the video game version, but again, it is impressive. He isn't able to do much to show off personality, but we do get to see some of that Yoshi tongue action, so I think Yoshi gets a pass. Now, we also do see the true king of this world, and there have been some representations in the games of a king of the Mushroom Kingdom or that ruled over some of the regions within the world, but this king looks nothing like any of them nor acts like any of them unless you count being indisposed for the majority of the time until rescued by the brothers. Now, what is hilarious is the representation of where he has been during the movie, coupled with the actor revealed to play him. Fucking Lance Henriksen. Yes, of Aliens fame. Lance, buddy, why? You needed to check that bad? Pids, what did they do to the king and Lance Henriksen's career choices?
Chit futtered him.
Princess Daisy. Again, why the choice when Princess Peach would be the obvious popular choice? Does she at least look like Daisy and act like her? I suppose yes, she does. And she does act like Daisy in the games, which unfortunately meant existing as a plot driver to send the brothers on a mission. Yes, it's typical damsel in distress, but I do admire that they attempted to give her a position of authority and skill in her archaeology role, but it's never really used to empower her or help out, so it's a hollow point. I really don't know what to think about this choice of the princess. Piggles?
They chit futtered it.
Yeah, they did. King Koopa. Oh, fuck me, just look at this. Nothing alike, nothing alike. But I admire the attempt to create lizard frills with Dennis Hopper's hair. And how the fuck did they get Dennis Hopper involved in this? Honestly, though, he is one of the few saving graces of this film. I'd say he accurately represents the character of King Koopa. He's very smug, overconfident, and makes terrible jokes. So he is checking some boxes, but really, what really makes this role is Dennis Hopper's overacting in the role. He even goes so far as to draw out his speech pattern and S's so it sounds like what a hissing reptile or dinosaur could sound like if they were able to speak. It's fucking gloriously cheesy. We're good here. Last but not least, Mario and Luigi. Looks-wise, I think the choice of Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo is good. They have an excellent rapport with one another. Mario comes off as the protective and guiding brother, and Luigi comes off as competent but seeking Mario's guidance. My main complaint is that Leguizamo is not as old as one would expect Luigi to be. I'm sure, though, this was a choice that was based on the popularity of Leguizamo at the time, and again, they really do play well off of each other and are one of the other few saving graces to this film. All right, so it's not looking good so far. Let's go ahead and we're going to give a final verdict on how accurate this movie is to the video games. Piddles, what's your final verdict?
They chit futtered this movie.
I have to agree with the Pids. This is a chit futter of a movie. Rating it, I think I can give it at most 5 out of 10 here. It's mildly entertaining, has a few interesting elements. Other than that, though, most of the fun gets gleaned from the sadistic pleasure of watching the chit futter that this movie is, as well as getting some of that entertainment value from the overtop acting. I think there is also something to be said that this is the first attempt at a North American major motion picture video game adaptation, and thus this has some historical value and makes it worth at least one watch. Now, if you made it this far, I'm sure you got to be asking yourself, how in the hell did this film ever get made? Product placement with Newport and Reebok? Nah, the 90s. I want to thank you all for tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios and this special edition of Vidiot Movie Reviews. Until next time, I'm Elijah, aka Hajil Saunak, aka Nerd Lust Daddy, reminding you all to not be chit futters to each other. Body autonomy for all, peace, love, and happiness to all. Say goodbye to everyone, Piggles.
Bye bye.